Well, another wonderful short weekend in the middle of the week. Marjorie was off work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday this past week. However, since she had to go to work in the really early morning of Tuesday, not getting home until 0900, we started our weekend adventure on Wednesday. The plan was simple. Scott, Marjorie, and I were going camping at Merrill Lake near Cougar, Washington for one day and one night. On Thursday, we were going to go to Ape Cave and the lava fields. We left home to meet Scott at his house at 9:26. Scott wasn't quite ready to go when we arrived, and later, when we were ready to leave, his cat was missing, so he had to stay behind while we went ahead. He said he would catch up. We stopped for a bite to eat at the Jack in the Box in DuPont, Washington for about 15 minutes, and then continued our journey awaiting Scott's catch-up. Scott caught up with us in Woodland about 130 miles later. I've been to Merrill Lake before, years ago, with Scott on one of our trips. At that time, we were only there for a brief stay. Though I remember going there, none of it looked familiar when we arrived, so it was like visiting it for the first time. The campgrounds of Merrill Lake is a 144-acre site and consists of a forest covered with mixed conifers and hardwoods, along with a lake at the 1,500-foot elevation. Merrill Lake is prime habitat for birds of prey, including osprey, bald eagles, and is also the home of waterfowl such as the bufflehead, common goldeneye, and the hooded massinger. A regionally popular catch-and-release fly fishing spot. Merrill Lake has a boat launch for small craft, non-gasoline powered, and a 9-site campground. In addition to camping and fishing, Merrill Lake Campground has a 1-mile nature trail with interpretive signs in an old-growth Douglas fir and western hemlock forest. Later that day, after we set up camp and walked around a bit, the three of us went on that clearly marked nature trail, enjoying both the old-growth forest and learning from the signs scattered about the easily navigated 1-mile trail. The next morning we broke camp and headed for the Ape Cave. The full experience of the Ape Cave includes an easy exploration of a spacious lava tube, followed by a more difficult travel through a smaller, longer, and more rugged lava tube to an exit. Then enjoy an easy return hike winding through this shady forest of crusty lava formations. We did just the first part. It is a broad lava tube that descends gently to its end. The floor is flat, though a bit uneven at first, then sandy later on, from a mud flow that filled the lower portion centuries ago. The end of the cave now is where the sand has filled to within a couple of feet of the ceiling. The lower cave is an easy walk for the 1.5-mile round trip, which houses a popular geologic anomaly known as the meatball, a rounded-shaped piece of lava suspended between the upper and lower part of the lava cave. With a constant temperature of about 45 degrees, it is recommended that you bring a jacket or a warm sweater along with the 2 mandatory sources of light. After the Ape Cave, we went back to Cougar for some gas. From there, Scott went back the way we came, for he had a meeting to attend, and we continued our trek following NF 8303 and NF 83 to NF 90 to NFD 25. After about 50 miles, we came across a sign for Iron Creek Falls and decided to check it out. What a beautiful sight. We stayed there for about a half an hour before continuing on to US 12 West. Stopping in Morton, Washington for something to eat, smoked salmon from a local market, we continued on to Washington 7 North, Washington 161 North, to Washington 167 North, to 405 North, to 518 North, to 509 North, and on to home. Looking at it on a map, it is a big circle. It seems like we drive in circles. I could blame Margie for driving in circles because she is the one behind the wheel, but then she could blame me because I was the navigator. So we will just leave the blame out of it and conclude that it was a wonderful weekend and we were glad you could spend it with us.